What's up? My name's Glue Boy. Welcome back to the channel where we go over 40k. And like I mentioned last video, today we're covering the quite popular character Belisarius Cawl. Now, Belisarius Cawl is really contentious, both in and out of lore, for honestly some really similar reasons. Belisarius Cawl is the guy who's responsible for the Primaris Space Marines. Now, Primaris Space Marines, if you don't know, are essentially super soldiers. You take your Space Marine, and then you do it again, and make a better Space Marine. That's what he did. And a lot of people hate him for that, because, you know, he came in, was like, all right, here's a new shiny thing for Games Workshop to sell. Like, that, and a lot of other people hate him in lore, because this guy differs on one key tenet of the Adeptus Mechanicus. He believes the quest for knowledge should not just be upkeep and ritual, it should also be developing new technology. This guy goes against the tenet of no inventing. He does it all the time. Though honestly, that's like the one part he differs on. He still views, like, he worships a machine god, he still views the Emperor as the Omnissiah, all that. Also, he's really important to the current Imperium government, as he's like pretty next to Guilliman in a lot of decisions. So much that he developed, it's an AI. He made an AI of himself for Guilliman named Cawl Inferior, which has fun little quirks, like it has emotions, and keeps talking about how he wants to invade Mars, a thing that Cawl has said on a few times he doesn't really care to do. Another fun thing to mention about Cawl, before we go into his full backstory, is Cawl is 10,000 years old. He was around and kicking during the Horus Heresy. And a big reason is because, like, look at him. He's a giant, just robot monster. He used to be flesh and bones, not anymore. Most likely because he found his hands in some, like, most likely Eldar tech, honestly, and decided, I'll just replace my fleshy bits as they decay, kind of like ship of Theseus himself into 10,000 years of old age, which I will say, the standard age for most tech priests is about 1,000, because eventually your brain will just start going away. That's just a fact of life. So, who exactly is Belisarius Cawl? And honestly, that's a better question than you think, because there's more at play. But first of all, like most tech priests, Cawl was born in a test tube on Mars, where as a fetus, he was developed by being inserted knowledge into his fetus brain. And as he developed, because it takes a lot of energy to just have babies, they shoot them out once they're like toddlers. Where when most of them pop out, they're just, you know, babies that are older. Cawl popped out able to talk and communicate. A rare sight, mainly because he found a way to absorb more knowledge as an infant than the people around him, which then sent him on the path to become a tech priest, where he found himself in service of, just bear with me here, Magos Domina Hester Asperita Sigma Sigma. From her, he learned the technique of soul merging, which is something where you upload your brain so you can put it in a new body later, but it also doesn't just clone your memories and your thoughts, it clones your soul. It's a way of just preserving your body. And honestly, this is something that many people have done in 40k. I can think of 2 intelligent dickheads that have also done this. And what's better than cloning your own brain? How about stealing other people's brain and putting it in your own? Because that's what he did. He did it to 2 notable people at first. First up, Miss Sigma Sigma. She got involved with the heresy, decided to go a little bit of traitor. Cawl hung out with her for a little bit during this and then betrayed them because he was still down with Big E. And a dude named Ezekiel Zidane, a very important scientist when it comes to the Emperor in general. So Zidane was real important. This guy, like an ancient Terran scientist, he's the guy that helped Big E make the Black Carapace organ for Space Marines, which is the organ that allows them to fully interface their body with their power. He got Zidane's brain in a really kind of goofy way. Zidane was old as shit and dying, so he made an offer to Cawl. It's like, hey, I know you can merge souls. How about you take my brain? And it'll be hunky-dory. We'll just live together in this fun gestalt consciousness. Cawl said, sure. In secret, Zidane was waiting because he knew, if I get into Cawl's head, I'm such a cool guy, such a smart dude, I'll just override his personality. Now I got this new tech priest body. Didn't happen. Cawl took him over, because Cawl is a bigger, intelligent dickhead than Sedaine was. And in digging through Sedaine's memories, he saw a real goofy one. He saw the Emperor talking to Sedaine, and instead of calling him Sedaine, called him Belisarius Cawl, and started talking to Cawl, present day in that year, back like 1,000 years ago. It's like straight up like Assassin's Creed 2 Minerva talking to Desmond stuff if you've played Assassin's Creed 2. The same deal. But the Emperor let Cawl know, hey, it's you. You are responsible for pursuing my legacy. You're going to improve on my work, even to the point where you think you're fucking with everything. No, you are most important. And Cawl decided, all right, I'll continue your work. And then he started working on the Primaris Marines, which took him 10,000 years to develop. Who knows how much of that was fully on the project? Maybe Biggie took some horrible notes. Maybe Cawl just kind of was fucking around a little bit, not doing his work. But in the meantime, of those 10,000 years, he became normal to Monster Man. Though also another thing he did in that meantime, he actually was one of the people responsible for reviving Rabute Guilliman. Guilliman gave him the task of building some fun armor that would heal Guilliman, and also a cool sword, preserving the Emperor's sword. That was also told to him to do. Man had like a whole lot of responsibility put on his shoulders pretty early on. And there are more stories I could go into for Cawl, but because he just appears in a lot of the newer lore stuff, not as important. As important as the Fall Acadia, the revival of Guilliman, the Indominus Crusade. It's not what I'm getting into now. What I'll get into is some goofy stuff with Cawl. Mainly his, like, as he puts it, the choir of consciousness he has in his head. Now, Cawl has soul merged a lot of people. And one of the things that soul merging does is it allows him to cherry pick personality traits from these personalities to give himself a different face. So say he has to deal with some planetary governor to get some like secret knowledge that's on the planet. He can get some information, get some intel on who the guy is, fly on down, pick the personality traits that would most mesh with this governor, and then immediately become friends. Because they perfectly hit it off, so Cawl can manipulate him. And also, the title is not clickbait. Cawl legitimately, for the Mechanicus, has the most knowledge of the galaxy. Mainly because he does this fun thing of uploading his knowledge and memories to a big computer he has in a mountain. Kind of wiping a good chunk of his memories. He's also had his memories wiped a few times. So like imagine he's just playing Dark Souls 2 on like multiple New Game Pluses. That's what he's doing. Because he'll make this trek up this mountain, download all of his info, lose a lot of his knowledge and then like recent memories, and then go out and just find some more. Because he's so good at finding knowledge that he maxes out the capacity his brain can store. And honestly, that's all you really need to know about Cawl. He's not a very complicated character, except for some retcons he had, and the fact that some of his lore is a little bit forced. I'm gonna be honest, like, there's a reason a lot of people don't like Cawl. He kind of popped in, showed the new shiny thing that Games Workshop could sell, and then just kind of stands around doing the same thing repeatedly. Also, like, as goofy as the whole thing with Ezekiel Sedaine was, it's also so forced. Like, this new character comes in told you're super important by the Emperor and then continues on his work. It's a little thing. I also don't really care about the argument of Primaris versus Firstborn. I think Firstborn Marines are cooler, admittedly. I like the classics, but it's not something I'm gonna really get upset about. But yeah, that's about it for today. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, do that stuff. See ya.